This is not the best sewing table in the world, but it's my table. My dad found it at an estate sale and it had a Singer 66 inside. I have since gotten rid of the Singer 66 and I sort of regret doing that, but hindsight is 20/20, correct? I'm going to turn this table over and allow you to see what is underneath, because I don't think a lot of people really show you what is underneath a vintage sewing table. So let me go ahead and do that and I'll be right back. So this is the underside of the sewing machine table, and I'm just going to start from left to right and work my way over because there's kind of a lot to unpack here. So this right here is where the oil can would rest, and then you have a little spring right here, and that spring allowed for a fork to come out to support a leaf to the sewing machine, and I will show you that on the front side a little later. Right here, this was just there to protect the sewing machine when it was stowed away, and you have this to keep that little protective cover from sliding all of the way down. I don't know why they did it this way, because this is an awful lot of metal to be using inside of a sewing table that's not necessarily going to be used forever. But anyway, that's the way that they decided to do it. So this spring right here is probably the main thing that you're seeing on camera. This spring is attached to a rectangular shaped piece of cast iron, and that piece of cast iron has a hole in the center of it where all of your cords would have routed through on your sewing machine. You also have 3 different hooks here, and those were for cable management. So they used all this metal just to hold some cables out of the way, which to me seems very wasteful as in terms of materials, but that's neither here nor there. Also, you have this right here, and this was for holding the knee control for the sewing machine. And then this guy right here would lift up and you would press your knee against it in order to run your sewing machine. And I'm not necessarily a fan of knee controlling a sewing machine. It's very uncomfortable to me to have to use my knee to run the machine, but that is what they were doing back in the day, and I can really understand why they have discontinued that on sewing machine and now only offer the foot control for the sewing machine. I totally understand, because that junk hurts. I'm going to flip this over and allow you to see the sewing table from the front so that you can get a better idea of what it's like. But before I do, I'm going to explain why I painted this sewing table in the first place. This is a beautiful finish on the original wood inside the table, and that was the finish on the entire table in the beginning. But the problem was that a lot of the veneer had started to come off, so I painted over it so that it could look like a decent table and not all janky. So I'm going to go ahead and flip this over so you can see it from the front. So now we're looking at the top of the table once more. This is that rectangular piece that I was telling you about earlier that's made from cast iron that your cables would route through. And you also have this leaf here, and you were to lift this leaf up in order to pull your sewing machine up, and then once your sewing machine was up, you put this back down and it would hold your sewing machine in place. You also had these 2 pins here where the sewing machine would screw into the pins so that once it was not in use, it could be tucked away. But I don't use these anymore because I have several different sewing machines, and I don't necessarily tuck my machine away into the table because I have several. So what I'm going to do is pretty much remove most of what's inside of this table and place a shelf inside where I can sit my sewing machines. That way I don't have to constantly unscrew my machines in order to get them out of the table. And I know that some people like to keep the table as is, but I've been using this for so long and it's so beat up that it doesn't matter anymore. On this side you have a leaf that folds out so that you can put your project here while you're sewing. And there is this guy right here where it just comes out to allow you to be able to rest the leaf here without it drooping down when you're trying to sew. So that's pretty much all to this table. I'm going to disassemble it and sand it down and get it ready for paint. Before, I mentioned that we're going to add a table insert to the sewing machine table. Before we can do that, we have to take measurements. The first measurement to take is of the sewing machine. We need to see how deep it is so that we know how high to set the table insert. And the Bernina is 3.5 inches from the desk. So that means that we need to set our insert at 3.5 inches from the top of the work surface. One other thing to note is that the Bernina is my sewing machine with the greatest depth, and I am setting the table insert to that height because any other machine that I place in the table will need something else placed on top of it in order for it to be flush with the table once I'm done. If you are doing this project in order to be able to fit multiple machines inside of your table, you will need to do the same thing as me so that you can fit any machine in the table regardless of if it is the machine with your greatest depth or the one with the least. To find the dimensions of the table insert, you'll need to measure the inside of your sewing machine table legs, both lengthwise and widthwise, and then cut out a piece of wood to those dimensions. Once you've cut out the wood, you'll also need to use a jigsaw to route a hole for your cables to fit through. And this doesn't have to be an exact science, just sort of eyeball it and estimate how much space you will need for your cables to comfortably route through and also for your hand to be able to fit through there. Once you have done that, you will need something for your table insert to rest upon, and I found these pieces of scrap wood and have decided to use that as the thing for my table insert to rest upon. I just screwed them into both sides of the table on the inside and then rested my table insert on top and secured it in place with some screws. If you don't understand what I have said here, I am going to further explain it a little later down the road. So please do keep watching. If you haven't already, please do give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and tap that notification bell to receive updates. So I have finally brought this table back inside after having painted it. I didn't record my painting or my wood cutting for the most part because I was doing this project by myself. And I was trying to quickly get it done, and you guys know how that is. So I got this Krylon Catalina Mist from a discount store. They had it $2.99 for one or $5 for two. So I bought 2 for $5 and used pretty much both cans. And then later on, I went back to the store and got one more can of this because I don't know if it will be available later on, and I may need to touch up a few areas. So I was very happy about that because I had a very limited budget for this project and needed to get it done in a short amount of time. There are also other areas where I was frugal. So inside of this table, there's a piece of wood there to support my sewing machines. And that piece of wood is not a piece of wood that I purchased from some hardware store. Instead, what I did was I found a piece of wood from an older sewing table that was no longer able to be used because it was all torn up. I just took that piece of wood off and cut it to size. And basically what I did is I measured from this leg to this one, and from that leg to that one, and then cut to those dimensions to get the right sizing for this top here. And then what I did is I also got 4 or 3 wood cut off pieces, and you can see that piece of wood resting against the table, and I just screwed those 3 wood blocks into my table. And then I put this piece of wood on top, and secured it in with screws. And that is how the tabletop is resting inside of the table, and it's not going anywhere because I used some pretty strong screws in there in order to make sure that my sewing machine would not move. I also used a jigsaw to route out a hole for my wires to run through. And not only can my wires run through there, but I also now have enough room to put a knee lift foot control in there if I so choose to do so. Now, I'm not quite done with this project because I have tested putting a sewing machine into the table, and that was not very successful because there is this, put a light there. There is this lip right here, and that lip is getting in the way. So I'm going to have to take the jigsaw and cut that lip off of the table. And then two, whenever I want to use my sewing machine tabletop and use the free arm, I'm going to need another cutout piece of wood to go right here so that I can set that piece of wood here and be able to use the machine tabletop. In order to get the correct shape for the wooden cutouts, I just traced around the opening using a piece of medical table paper, and then that piece of paper was taped onto the wood, and I just transferred the markings from the paper to the wood and then used the jigsaw to cut everything out. So I cut out this piece right here to go on top whenever I want to use my machine tabletop. And no, I have not been recording the overwhelming majority of this because, like I said before, I just wanted to get this project done. One other thing, I have a bit of a story time to tell you. I got this Black & Decker jigsaw here to finish out the project, and here's why. In the process of using that old metal saw to complete the project, it broke. And I know that it's an easy fix and that it could be fixed, but I'm afraid of the saw. And here's why. That saw belonged to my grandfather, and it is all metal. And while the old appliances do last for ages and last a lifetime, I was afraid of it because I realized that the plug at the very end had the ground sawed off. So that was dangerous because this is a all metal jigsaw. And if there were to ever be an electrical problem, then I would be toast, or whoever was using that saw would be toast. So for that reason, I decided that it wasn't worth the trouble and that I just wanted to just buy this brand new one. This was the most inexpensive saw that I could find, and I'll try to leave a link to it over on my Amazon page because sometimes you do need a saw for whenever you are sewing. And you would think, why would you need a woodworking saw for sewing? And you do sometimes, because if you're like me and have these vintage tables that you run across, then sometimes they need some work done on them, and this right here is the best way to get it done, especially when you're cutting out odd shapes like this one, for example. It has 3 rounded corners and then 1 straight corner on the end. That's just how the Singer tables are made, and cutting that out on a big saw just doesn't work well because you can't get those corners rounded like you want to. Well, I'm going to stop rambling here and show you the table, or what I've done with the table so far. And yes, it is kind of jerry-rigged to work, but I just used what I have rather than going out to the store and purchasing items every time I need something. So I have my Singer 404 in the table right now, and it's pretty much at a level height, and it's not hanging on those table hinges, which I truly hate to use. So I'm going to take this out of the table and show you what's going on behind the scenes to make this be the right level. And please don't laugh at me when I show you. So this is what's inside of my table to get it to the correct height. I have 4 pieces of cardboard cut to size, and then I also have 1 piece of wood in there that's cut 5/8 of an inch thick. And that gets my sewing machine to the correct height. The reason why I chose to do it this way is because my deepest sewing machine is the Bernina, and this is the appropriate height for the Bernina. I have not cut an insert out for that machine as of yet, but I will using my jigsaw at some point. But if I want to put other machines in and out of this table, the only thing I have to do is stack more cardboard or take cardboard out. And I think that's really the best solution for this at the moment. Now I do have a raw edge over here, but that raw edge is not one that's going to be there forever. I'm going to cover this in foam to protect the edge of my sewing machines. So that's why I left this raw when I cut it off with the jigsaw. So I may show you what it looks like to have some other machines inside of this table, but by far I'm pretty much satisfied with the outcome of this woodworking project. So now this is what my Bernina is looking like inside of the table. As you can see, there's some space around here, which I'm fine with for right now, but I know that I probably will cut a piece of acrylic or something like that to be at the correct height and to cover up all of this. But I just wanted to have my sewing machine even with my table, regardless of what sewing machine that I'm using, just for ergonomics sake. Now, this is the most exciting part of this table change that I have made, is that now my featherweight fits in the table, so I can use this machine more. I haven't been using it as much because I don't have anywhere to put it, but now I do because I've made this change to the table. So I think that I will end the video right here and get to doing some sewing, because I'm super excited about working in my now altered vintage sewing table. So guys, what I will say is that I think that we cannot always be purist with vintage items, because we might not be able to use those items and enjoy them to the level that we'd like to, because in their vintage state they aren't optimal for use. But I have made alterations to this table by adding the insert and also cutting off this lip right here so that all of my machines would fit into the table. If I were to try to keep this completely historical, then I would not have been able to use the table. And then 2, some people would criticize me because I painted the table, but that table was looking ugly and the veneer was coming off. Like, you can see little small areas here where the veneer has worn off, and it just looked horrible. And I know that I wouldn't want it in my room if it was like that. So having painted it, I don't think that I took away from the value of the table. It's actually added great value to me, because now I can use whatever machine that I want in this table and be able to sew. The only machine that does not fit this table is my Kenmore. And for the Kenmore, I plan on having the insert to raise to the level of this table so that I can just use the Kenmore tabletop. But that can all be done with just some cardboard. So guys, I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.